Hello and welcome to Secret Rare, a brand new Pokemon podcast. Every week we talk about all things in the world of Pokemon, but I'm joined by my two favourite trainers, Ryan-Smith and Nathan Ellingsworth. How's it going, folks? Nathan, how are you on this festive edition of the show?
All good, all good. I had a good time last week smashing through the Indigo Disk for guides, and then this weekend I was just playing it. So I had a good time, and I've been getting a bit Christmassy. I've even got a vegan Irish liqueur, which is very
fancy.
nice. I know. It's called, you can buy many different types of vegan Irish liqueur, but this one's called Dirty Cow. It's lovely.
Speaking of everyone's favourite Dirty Cow, how are you, Tom?
Oh, I'm doing great, thank you. How about you?
I'm very, very well. We're getting there. We're getting through it. Me and my partner are doing so my partner's birthday is on the 23rd of December, so it's
oh wow, that's
a
a
very
bit
expensive
close.
Week. Yes,
Yeah.
but we're doing it tomorrow as we have like plans for the rest of the week and stuff like that. I'm going down to London with the VGC mob for our Christmas night out. I'm only excited about that because I'm going to go and visit Brotherhood Games, which is a card shop that I've been desperate to go and see for a while now.
When are you doing that? Is that tomorrow or is that?
We're doing our Christmas tomorrow, and then I'm going down to London on Wednesday.
Oh, so you're not going to go to the Pokemon
So you're going to miss
pop-up?
Yeah, I was going to say, you're going to miss the Pokestop by one day.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I mean, I'm not even going to London, so I'm not even going to see it at all.
Yeah, I've got people in places. You know, we'll get the things that we need to get. This week we have the Indigo Disk DLC, and we're also going to be making our predictions for 2024 in Pokemon. Nathan, why don't you kick us off? What did you think about the second and final DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the Indigo Disk?
For legal reasons, it is the final one because that's all the information we've been officially given, and I do not believe anything else I've seen or heard. Haven't even heard it, so couldn't believe it.
Complete cutscenes? No thanks. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about that. So yeah, as of right now, the final DLC. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's I like the challenge. Do you know what? I've seen a few people share like the previews where a few of us were like, the battles are quite hard, and they've like quote tweeted that and been like, you what, mate? And I was like, yeah, they're hard if you're 8 years old and you've just got through Scarlet and Violet. I don't mean if you're bloody Wolfie. Like, what do you want from me?
Also, I feel like the battle that we did in the preview, which I think we can say now was Amorous, that was way harder. And I don't know if it was just because of the team they gave us or whatever, but it was pretty hard at the time.
Our rental team was like the Pokemon company gave us a team that was like 70 something or generally, and it was a good spread, and we all had items. But obviously, like we've been going in with like absolute level 100 brawlers. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I like the story at the end and the way they kind of capped it off. It surprised me that this kind of tells an entire story, whereas I think Sword and Shield kind of felt like this, and then this. And then this. Yeah. Whereas this feels like the game that Scarlet and Violet has always like been building towards. And some of the returning Pokemon, new Pokemon I like. My only issue is I already really didn't like the performance, but it's just we have to make do, and it's been we've battered a dead ponytail by this point. But I have found I think it's worse at the moment. I've had a couple of times where I've pressed X or plus, and it's taken about 10 seconds to come up to a menu, and even that wasn't happening before. So I'm miffed that my least favorite element has gotten worse, and like I don't think the graphics are hot either. But I like the biomes, I like the layout. I think everything else is absolutely grand. I think this is a really good testing ground. I'm sick of saying this because I've been saying this for 20 years. I reckon the next ones will be really good.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think the story is really solid, and I think that it wraps up a bit quickly for me. I think the whole Blueberry Academy, the building itself could have been used a bit better. Like you're barely ever in it, more or less. It's nice to see returning characters from Scarlet and Violet, and I don't know if this is just a case of because I'm completing the TCG sets, I see these trainers a lot, and I know all their names based on their cards and stuff like that. It's like when Iono came in, I was like, yes, come on, there she is, my girl, my 200-pound girl. But yeah, I thought that stuff was good. The terrarium, I think, is a bit of a letdown in the sense that so it's split into 4 biomes, but the diversity of Pokemon in each of the biomes isn't that large, and at one point you get a chance to pay to upgrade the biomes with battle points, which you get via quests, which we're talking about in a bit, because it's a system that is either feast or famish, depending on what mode you do it in. But it's like, oh, increase the biodiversity. I was like, okay, good stuff. This will mean it's a bit sparse, but there'll be a load of returning Pokemon here, and that just refers to the starters. So you pay to get you pay this battle point system to get the starters back, and it's like, ugh. I saw an image floating around of all the Pokemon that didn't return in Scarlet and Violet, and the whole Dex argument is really tired at this point. But it's so many. Like, would it have been that much of a difference to add 50 Pokemon back in, put 15 extra in each of the 4 biomes? And there's so many fan favorites in Pokemon that they actively promote that just aren't in it. Like Cubone and Marowak. Cubone is one of the most merchandised Pokemon, and he's not in it. Like, it's a strange decision. Where's the Unova Monkeys? They've not been in a game since Gen 7. Come on now.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. They need to.
Yeah, honestly, I'd say here they're not in it makes me really happy and excited to keep playing.
I get a feeling you get a chance to catch the Unova Monkeys sooner rather than later. But yeah, it's solid. So the BBQ system, they're like, it's a great idea, and I hope it continues going forward because it gives you an incentive to do things. However, these quests it'll be like travel 500 yards and you'll get some battle points for that, and then it'll be catch a Pokemon in this biome and you'll get some battle points for that. However, there is only about 15 different quests, so they repeat all the time.
It reminds me of when Halo Infinite launched and it had the really crap challenges to get experience, and that was the only way to level up. They're the same level of challenges, they're the same stuff. Yeah. And because they just randomly rotate, it's just, exactly the same. Which is not a comparison I should be making, really. When
the amount of battle points they give you is really low. However, if you play multiplayer with the Union Circle, you get like a ridiculous amount of them, and you need them for the end game stuff. So it's like it's a weird situation where it encourages you to do Union Circle stuff. However, this game doesn't have matchmaking. So it basically forces you to go on Twitter and search Union Circle and find who else is doing it. And I've jumped into like tons of people's games, and you need them for post game battles, and you need them for post game legendaries. So it's Nathan. Yep. I feel like it's a good idea handled strangely.
Yeah, because it's one of my favorite elements of Legends Arceus is the like the Pokedex tasks, which you use to like increase shiny rates and stuff. It adds an incentive to explore the overworld, whereas a lot of the time beforehand we've just been like, well, I need to just get from here to here. I don't give a shit about anything in between. Like, it's nice to have a reason to stop and be like, oh, whilst I'm going, I'll pick this up. I agree that they give you nothing. They give you like 10 for like defeating however many Pokemon. And I also really don't like the legendary Pokemon are like, the shiny locked, which is bullshit.
That's a joke. For a DLC. There's no reason whatsoever.
Money for a DLC, and B, also the fact that they're still locked to version exclusives. So not only would you, if you don't have any friends, have to buy Scarlet and Violet, you'd also have to buy a version of the DLC for either game, and you don't even have like multiples, so you could trade them. Like with Iron Crown and Raging Bolt, you don't get 2 of them, so you can trade one for the other. It's an issue I have with Pokemon that I thought Legends Arceus solved, and I was like, cool, maybe this is where we're going. And I understand why we did the 2 versions, but we're really nickel and diming people here. And it ties in with the changes to remote raids and Pokemon Go, and the rollout of like legendaries and that being incentivized in the shiny versions. It's like they're doing everything they can to like charge us for shiny versions. I don't know. It feels a little bit. I don't like it. At the moment, I think the Crown Tundra's rollout of legendaries is much better. It's a shame because I really love the DLC and a lot of other stuff, but the legendaries have really let me down.
It would have made sense if they shiny locked maybe the brand new legendaries, because that's something that's always happened, really. Like it got at least in recent games, it's been you get the shiny version of the legendary like a gen after it was introduced. So I get that, but shiny locking like Lugia and Ho and like the Hoenn legendaries and stuff. I've got shiny legendaries for the first 5 gens coming out my arse. Like, what's the point in shiny locking them? I don't know if it's just because they're static encounters, and the way you encounter the legendaries in this game is after you complete the story, there'll be a guy at Blueberry Academy who will say, "Oh, you've completed X number of BBQs. I remember this time that I met Raikou standing on the edge of a cliff in Paldea. Go and find him. And he would just be standing there. It's a level 70 fight for all of them, apart from Kupfu, who's level 30. And that's it. But they're so slapdash in the way that they're implemented on the map. There's like a section near Fury Falls where there's 5 different legendaries within about 10 minutes of each other. Like, you can stand at one legendary and look down and see another one and see another one. It's like, surely there's another way to do this. Like, even if the way I thought it was going to happen was they would be in like the raid pool or something like that. Once you got to a certain tier, it was like, okay, put them in the raid pool. That means they can be shiny because they're not static encounters. Like, and to your point, Nathan, I know they announced that Walk and Wake and Iron Leaves are coming back for raids for a week, but they're part of the Pokedex and they're only going to be available for a week. Like, the fact that they're not just in this DLC is absolutely ridiculous.
If you've already caught them, you can't catch another one. 1%. Yeah. They're coming back and you can't catch another one to trade.
It's a baffling decision. It's baffling. It's an issue that they realized that it's a mistake because the ordering of the Pokedex has them out of sync with the rest of like the Paradox versions of those legendaries. So it's so weird how it's counted. We can't talk about it too much because it would imply illicit things, but there's still more to come. There is a Pokemon that is referenced, and if you believe, is currently in the first DLC that you can go and visit in a certain form in a certain shop. So that's still to go. But Tom, how much of it have you played? Because you've not had the jail sentence that me and Nathan have had.
No, when it dropped, I was in the middle of doing the entire Game of the Year video for Content for Gaming Bible, so I'm kind of really struggling to get time with it right now. But I think I've got the open world open. I can finally do the challenges, and I've challenged Crispin. I think that's his name, the fireman who likes to put his Pokemon in a fight. I've challenged him, failed that miserably because I do not have teams of level 100s. I'm very much a level 70s kind of guy at the moment, and now I'm like, oh, I need to go and train because also this guy his typing really threw me off. I really expected some sort of like very simple like fire type fight, but this guy, like, his Talonflame was really doing me in, and his Rotom was doing me in, and I was generally quite shocked by how the typings were sort of like there to fuck you if you chose to be obvious with it, and I was just like,
yeah.
So yeah,
I think that's a smart move, and they do kind of allude to like, they are obviously typed, but it will be like, one of these Pokemon is like a fighting, a flying fighting or something like that, and it makes for a good kind of, it introduces people who aren't really aware of the VGC style of battling to a very slight taste of it. It's like my first competitive Pokemon kind of thing, and. Yeah, I mean, back in my day, you got to the Battle Frontier and you got your head kicked in because you had no idea what was going on. It's not quite that difficult, but
no.
I wish we had a Battle Frontier.
Yeah. Like, I have no conspiracy theory for this Raptor just yet, but when I was challenging Crispin, I did a few things where I restarted the save every single time when I lost, rather than kind of going fresh. And depending on my move I chose before him, his move changed after that. As if it was knowing and allocating.
It does. That's not a conspiracy theory. The game does take your move into account. It has done that forever.
But it was it do it as well. Like, if it knew my move was going to miss, it adjusted its attack on the other side as if it had already pre-calculated it. I was like, that's not good.
Yeah. It's also forced set battles, which is pretty rare for the Pokemon series. Like, it doesn't let you do the old classic, it's about to throw in X Pokemon, why don't you put in this Pokemon that you know is super effective against it? Like, it's a bit more challenging.
I don't mind that.
I like the double battles as well.
Oh yeah, I like those too. Woof, woof, woof.
Yeah. I know the Hounds of Justice are screaming, so I'm going to go and close this door. Give me a minute. Nathan, what do you see as the main thing from this DLC they should take forward to the next game?
I think the challenge is probably one of them. I do really like from this DLC specifically, actually giving people a bit of a challenge. I don't know why we're not doing difficulty like we had in Black and White 2, which even in Black and White 2 you had to complete the game to unlock difficulty, which was ridiculous. I think, did you? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure you did. But like, yeah, it's nice to have the choice. And again, I know these matches aren't like insane, but it's nice to have a bit of like, oh, I do have to think about this. And like, you know, even having level 100 Pokemon that can be 2-hit KO'd if you don't like get the movement straight away. Like, I have had to build a proper team and I've had to think about it, and that's what I want. I'd really like to see that move forward.
Yeah, I think for me, like, the fact this was hard felt so out of character for the rest of the game. So, like, I just came in not expecting it. And now I know I can go, oh, right, I need to actually think about this and not just go in with just a bunch of water types and kick ass.
Yeah, I think another thing is I do want to see the Blueberry quest, the BBQs, come back in some sort of form. I think that, you know, they're obviously iterating on it with the Legends Arceus Pokedex quests. I can't remember exactly what they're called. And they're a really good idea. They're a really good incentive. I mean, they were amazing in Legends Arceus because the shiny chances were tied behind it. So everyone loved that. Like, you tie shiny chances behind something and everyone's going to go wild. So I do hope they iterate on stuff like that just to kind of do as you go. It's like little mini rewards that are like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a game that does that really well in terms of like quests you just pick up as you go along. And eventually, do you know what? Who does it really well? Xenoblade Chronicles. Xenoblade Chronicles. You've got like collections. You've got the Pokemon, the monsters you see. That is a really good example of a game where you go around and you might not even realize you're doing it, but eventually you go in the quests and you're like, oh, I saw all of the monsters in that area. Oh, I picked up all of these, and it rewards you, and you just kind of see them pop up. I think Pokemon should take more from Xenoblade Chronicles like 3. Like, if you're going to do big open worlds, give us a reason to stop and do things and go back. Like, that is a really good example of quests and things to do along the way. So I hope they iterate and they pick up on that.
Very nice. I'm hoping to have a complete Pokedex for all 3, Kitakami, Blueberry, and Paldea by the end of Christmas. So we'll pick up on Indigo Disk in the new year when Tom's had more time to play it. Let's go into topic number 2, our predictions for the world of Pokemon in 2024. We've each made 3 predictions. We'll go around the houses. This can be anything in the world of Pokemon that will transpire in 2024. Let's kick off with Nathan's first prediction.
All right, I'm working up. I'm starting boring, but I'm working up. I'm going to say it right now. I think next year is like a fallow year for Pokemon. I think I'll get into it. I don't think we're getting a main line. I don't think we're even getting a big spin-off. I think this is a rest year before new hardware. So my first guess is hold on to your butts. Gigantamax Pokemon in Pokemon Go, because we're running out of Mega Pokemon.
That's fair.
Yeah, I could see that. How do you imagine that to transpire? Will it be like a Gigantamax meter, the same way that they made Megas intolerably bad?
Yeah, I think it'll be the same thing. I think you earn like Gigantamax candies. It's an 8-hour transformation. I think it'll be very, very similar. Though I think they'll have to address then why they wouldn't do Dynamax, because then they'd also have to explain why they're not doing Z moves. And that's because in Go, I think it's too much to tackle. But I think Gigantamax forms will eventually make their way over, and hopefully some more Gala Pokemon, because they got done dirty.
I think that's actually quite a good shout, actually. Tom, you're first.
See, unfortunately, mine all tied together very closely and kind of go off what happened last generation. And I think I know what your predictions are going to be. Like, I already know what you're going to say from what you hinted at earlier, and it's going to go against it. I do think we're going to get a terrible remake of Gold and Silver next year.
Oh, what, like an Elka remake?
Yeah, I reckon we're getting that next year. And only because, as much as I'm not going to say what you're going to say, because I know what it's going to be. But I saw Joe tweet out that there's no Celebi in Indigo Disk.
Yeah.
So why would you put a legendary that's going to be in? Yeah, I don't know. It is kind of tied together a little bit. Like, I don't know. There maybe I don't know what other legendaries are not in there. I've not checked. So maybe like the Unova legendaries aren't either, but something like that. But yeah, I think the fact that Celebi isn't in there is we're kind of hitting towards that. And if this theory falls apart and the next thing someone says, that's fine.
if next year has Pokemon Legends Celebi, I will fucking shit my pants. I will be I'll be doing backflips. That's everything I want. I want to see how the Burning Tower and the legendary cats, like the big cats, got made. I want to see all of that. That is like my dream game.
You won't? No, they
I
don't
don't want
do
to see
that
it on Switch. I don't want to see that on Switch.
Oh no. That's why I think it's going to be the rubbish remake first.
Okay, well, my first prediction is to celebrate the 25th anniversary, we get Let's Go Johto. It comes with a GS ball, like the Pokeball that came with the first game. That GS ball is how you get Celebi. It's 1 per GS ball, the same way that Mew was 1 per Pokeball. And I imagine that's how they celebrate that anniversary. Perhaps they stick the games on Virtual Console, but who knows? Without having to blow apart those 2D games and make them a fully 3D environment. If they just did a Let's Go, it can still be top down. It can still be the same map, like almost identically, just in the Let's Go style. I'm shocked it's taken them this long to revisit Let's Go, because those games did well. And
Let's Go is so much better than the remakes. But also, I think maybe the reason they haven't done that is because it would take 3 teams at Game Freak working on 3 games.
Oh, they've got enough money. Come on now. Like, we need to. I do agree that it depends. Yeah, who's going to direct each of them? Yeah. But yeah, that's my hope, because I don't think we get past. I don't think we get past the anniversary of Gold and Silver without them doing something.
No.
I really hope it's not an Ilka remake.
Yeah.
Like, but
I hope it's not.
Yeah, Ilka's credited in the credits for the Indigo Disk, and when their name came up, I was
like,
if it is Let's Go Johto, I really I like Let's Go more than some people. I just think the decision to lock the controls behind motion was like not very consumer friendly, and also the controls were just bad. So I hope that's an option this time. Yeah, I hope that's an option, because Let's Go came out in 2018. Still, other than at this point, new Pokemon Snap, the best looking Pokemon game on Switch.
Beautiful. I am going to struggle if they do a Go game again, Let's Go game, because I have been living my best quick ball life at the moment, and they are so OP. But in Let's Go, catching anything in Let's Go was the most painful experience. Like
that's why you played in co-op at all times and used 2 different Joy-Cons and did like the double throw. Like, that was the way to do it. Nathan, your second prediction for the next year in Pokemon?
A bit of a safe one. The movies return, this time with Liko and Roy.
Return in what sense? Are we thinking an iPlayer? Like how will they roll out in the UK? Is my question.
I think it'll be the similar situation to what happened before, in terms of like small theatrical release in Japan, and we get it on Netflix either a few months later or like the year afterwards. So like Zarude, the Lost Forest, whatever it was. You know the one. I think it'll be like that. Yeah, out in Japan first. But I think it's just time that they do the movies again. They've had a big break. And Liko and Roy, if they really want to promote Horizons as a new series, they need to throw the weight behind it. And like, they deserve a movie. And it'll be, whether it's Terrapogus or a new mythical that might be coming up in some hypothetical DLC, then cool, great. That synchronizes quite well.
I do love the idea that it will just come out on HBO Max or on Apple TV or something, just to continue the really awkward distribution of all Pokemon animes.
Yeah,
just drop somewhere at some point.
Yeah, you can watch a random 3 seasons of Pokemon Advanced on Amazon and nothing else. It's like, do you want to watch this tiny part of it? That's it. Tom, your second prediction.
So, like, keeping in with the game path, I think we're going to get a similar setup like we did when we got the announcement for the Diamond and Pearl remakes. I think we're going to get a teaser trailer for a Legend Celebi. I reckon we'll get a little quick teaser for it. Like, this is happening. We're going to do it. And I also think that depending on how Nintendo do the rollout for the Switch 2, if it is next year, it could also be next or whatever. That would be their test bed for the next gen console, rather than launching straight onto it with the next gen, because that's what happened with Let's Go Pikachu, right? That was the first Switch one, right?
Yeah, that was the first. Yeah, that came pre Sword and Shield.
So I don't think it'll be Gen X first on Switch. I reckon it'll be either Legends or the crappy remake. It's a very mixed opinion there.
Yeah, I'm staying on this Gold and Silver hype. This is technically an announcement that will take place next year for for 2025. Towards the end of 2024, Pokemon will announce to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the greatest set in TCG history. We're getting a Neo remake. They're going to do a Generations for Neo. It's going to combine the 4 sets into one. It's not going to be a complete remake of one of the sets. It will be like a Neo revived, and it will come with cards from across that kind of era. And that will parlay with because I imagine next year's TCG is largely going to be introducing Pokemon from Kitakami and from Blueberry Academy
I'm
stuff.
I'm in the same boat here, and he has stopped.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I was like, I've gone.
Nathan, you still here?
But I could see you moving as well, so it's okay then.
Yeah. All right. Is he back?
You're back.
Hey, here he is.
Did I stop?
Yeah.
Yeah. We can see each other, but not you.
Nathan stopped for me, and I could see Tom. How strange.
Me and Nathan can still communicate.
Is Ishihara? He's listening. He knows that I've got the scoop.
You just got cancelled like on stage. Like you got like just
we've just been DMCA'd.
For the avoidance of doubt, they're going to announce next year a Neo revived set. The 4 sets not combined into one, but the best of each card, the best of each set, and the TCG next year will be introducing Nathan's favourite ugly Pokemon, Okidogi. How you doing? How's the day going? How's the weather? So that's my second prediction. It's very, very gold and silver themed. This, I mean, I love it. Heart Gold, Soul Silver, my favourite games. So let's do this.
I mean, I agree with you. I think they'll celebrate 25 years of it somehow. But yeah, didn't also the Pokemon TCG account the other day literally tweet a picture of the old Neo cards and was like,
yeah,
that's why I was like, it's got to be. And because it came out in 2000 in Japan as well, so it was February 2000 in Japan, September 2000 in the States and Europe, so they could announce that in 2024, because it'll have to go into productions, obviously, so it will leak, so if they announce it next year, that makes sense to me. Also,
imagine the UPC.
Oh, man. A UPC with the Umbreon and the Espeon? Come on. The one where they're like standing on 2 like plinths looking at each other? Come on now.
All right.
Also, weird vault fast, but Wizards of the Coast used to have their European headquarters in Glasgow. I didn't know this until the guy at my card shop told me the other day. And he was like, yeah, I know the guy that used to run Wizards in Glasgow. It's like, what? He was like, yeah, I know all that crew. One of them just has boxes and boxes of Wizards era stuff up their loft, and they're just selling them off every time they need a wee cash injection. They have like uncut Wizard sheets and stuff. And I'm just sitting there like rubbing my head.
Why don't you just set up some sort of like interview with that person, just so you can go and see them with some video content?
Mate, I'm trying to make the connection, because I'll just walk past and be like, what's that say? Neo Genesis? Oh, that's worth nothing. I'll take that off your hands, 50 quid. Do you? Okay. Final prediction, Nathan. Hit me with the biggie.
All right. So this is going to be really boring, but this is like me genuinely trying to make sense of it. Next year is probably the last year of full Switch support, though it's not going to die straight away. The Pokemon Company doesn't go with the launch of consoles because they always make the most out of the user base. You know, we had Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon whilst the Switch was out. We had Black and White 2 whilst the 3DS was out. So I don't think we're getting, if we do get a new Switch next year, I don't think we get a Pokemon game till 2025 at the earliest.
No, I agree.
And even then, I wouldn't be surprised if it was early 2026. So I think the final Switch exclusive Pokemon game is a spin-off. I think we get it next Christmas, because if there's no DLC, there'll be no big Pokemon game at the shelves next Christmas. So we're getting one next Christmas. At this point, we're kind of running thin on the ground for spin-offs. I'm going to say new Mystery Dungeon.
Is that based on Synchro mode from the DLC? Because I think
no.
Because I saw a lot of people suggesting, why would they build this way for you to play as every Pokemon if they're not going to do something like that?
But
like,
what would be the point? But Game Freak don't develop Mystery Dungeon, right? Do they?
No,
they don't.
Bring back Pokemon Ranger, come on. I want to scribble my telly with a pen.
Ranger? The rose-tinted glasses for Ranger, a bad game that gave you RSI. Also, you could get a bloody Manaphy or Fionegg. Like, those days, mate, they were nickel and diming us for just like a single Pokemon. It was ridiculous. Ranger's bad. Like, I played it, I liked
agree,
it,
Rangers
I've gone
are
back.
bad. Spike Chunsoft were the people who developed the Mystery Dungeon games. So, oh yeah, because that remake leaked because the Spike Chunsoft logo was on the Pokemon website for like a couple of days before Direct, and people were like, "Well, obviously they're doing a Mystery Dungeon." I think you're just about right. Because your theory, I believe that next year we're getting the Switch 2. Like, I think that is what's going to happen next year with the Switch 2. I don't think we get a mainline Pokemon game until, I would say, the 27th of February 2026 because that would
be 30 years of Pokemon, maybe?
That would be the 30th anniversary to the date.
3 years of the generation as well. No, it wouldn't. Would that be 4 years?
When did Scarlet and Violet?
We're in 2023 now. It'd be just over 3 years.
So it'd be fine then. So it's still
be about 3.5. It'd be about 3.5 years between the launch. Yeah,
cool.
So, see, I think that you'll be able to sustain that because there is a game coming in my predictions between now and then that will satiate the Mega Sados. But first, Tom, your final prediction.
The worst thing is, it is Neo reprints. But I think, knowing Pokemon, they're going to do something so weird and just apply a new... Because this year, it's always a new gimmick expansion every single year. Like VMAX, V-Star. I reckon we'll do reprints of Neo, but attaching some new gimmick on top of it, on top of those cards.
You're breaking my heart. You're absolutely breaking my... You're going to take that hollow for alligator from the Neo Neo base set and put one of the crowns on it. Put one of the ugly Terrapagos crowns on it. Like...
Maybe they'll bring back like when you've got all the get the cards together, like Exodia from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Nice,
like something like that.
I think actually, Nathan, you'll have seen this, the Stellar type and the DLC. I bet you Stellar Stars is next year's Christmas set. Like,
oh, that's a really good idea.
Yeah,
how would they do? Well, how would you make a different type of Terra move you can use? Would you have to have like a Stellar Terra card?
I don't know. It will be a weird situation, but the cards will look pretty and sparkly, so that's really all that people care about.
It'll just be a case of them being more powerful, and also you'll lose 4 prize points.
If you knock out a Stellar Pokemon, game over. You take all remaining prize cards. My final prediction is that we do have Let's Go Johto, but before we get the next full gen, we get the final game for Switch, the final Pokemon game for Switch, which is Pokemon Black and White 3. It's the Unova remake, but it's a full-on sequel to Black and White. Not only that, lads. It's tied in to all the Paradox shit in Scarlet and Violet, because there is multiple places in that, not just this DLC, but across the Paldean region, where they've like recreated sections of Unova, like from a top-down perspective. It's identical.
I'm with you on there. Where you get Haxorus in Black and White 2 at the end is literally recreated in the Terrarium. I don't think we're getting Black and White 3 in the year 2024. Like, I think we might get Legends Unova or Legends Kyurem or something like that.
They give them a lot of they give those 3 a lot of prominence, and like everything, like in the trailer showing the return of Legendaries, they 3 were the only ones that got like full animations and shit. Like, I think the evidence towards Unova is mounting, and that makes me think almost certainly Ilka's making the Unova games, and everyone will be screaming also, again. But
some people found Meloetta through a technique I won't ruin, but you can search it if you want in the DLC, and we haven't seen Victini in a long time.
Yeah, data for Victini was in the Crown Tundra, and the event was never activated.
Nobody knows. Yeah. So I don't think it'll be Black and White. If it's Black and White 3 in the Diamond and Pearl remix style, I'll be gutted. But a Legends Kyurem,
them that power.
I'd really like.
Yeah,
they're not going to give Ilka a full new game. I'm sure they're only on a remake level.
Maybe if they've got more support this time, because it sounds like with Diamond and Pearl, they were kind of like, look, we're busy, we're making 2 games, and it's bad enough when we make 1, so just do what you want. Like, I don't know. Hopefully they've got more support, because I think they could have made a good game. Like, I don't think the Diamond and Pearl games are irredeemable. I think they're just boring. So I hope they get support. If it is that, I hope they're better. That'd be really nice. I really love Black and White.
No, I quite like the fact that even though we've done 3-year cycles forever, we still have no idea. It's still quite exciting.
I think Nintendo have left them in an awkward situation with how long they've waited to talk about Switch 2. Because it's known that they are working on a Switch 2 game. Like the next Gen 10 is obviously a Switch 2 game. They're obviously working on it now. That'll be what the main crew are on at the minute. But they need to have games to fill that void, because if they announce the Switch 2 next year, they're not gonna. Well, so the Switch 2 is in a strange situation because the Switch launch year had a Mario and a Zelda, and we've just closed probably their last year with a Mario and a Zelda. Nintendo is working on like a big Donkey Kong game that's supposedly
not a launch. That's not a big seller though.
The thing is Miyamoto's like project, so he might think it is. He might be, and if he says it is like so.
But Nintendo EPD isn't one studio, and they could have been working on Super Mario 3D Universe as a launch game, and Donkey Kong will come out a couple of years afterwards. Like, they sit on these games, they iterate them, and no, Ainuma's not about to bust out another Zelda game. Like that's another thing where like that was meant to come out much earlier. COVID delayed it, and also consoles and whatever. So like Zelda's just way off. But yeah, Mario, I think we could have launch. But I know what you mean. It's difficult now. You know.
A side-scrolling Mario game doesn't have the same power as a 3D Mario game. Like, you can end a generation on a side-scrolling Mario and then start the next one next year with 3D.
I'm pretty sure that was the Mario Maker team, which is one of the different EPD studios, right? I know they're all in the same house, but like it is split into like, is it EPD or EAD?
EPD. I imagine there's a 3D Mario going. Like, it just depends where along the cycle that is.
They're always making one. They're always at some point, whether it's the technology or whatever, they're always making one.
And ultimately, the Pokemon Company holds all the power in this situation. They tell Nintendo when they're putting their stuff out, so it's really up to them. And they love an anniversary, like they did Sun and Moon on the anniversary instead of doing Z. Like, I think we wait till 26, and that's when we get the Gen 10.
Oh yeah,
I think the difference is as well is like Nintendo are happy to be like they've said in interviews about Mario Wonder. Yeah, we just kind of made it, and then we didn't really slap a release date on it until we thought we were happy to put it out. Whereas Pokemon are like, yeah, we're going to try and make a good game, but it is coming out this October. And if it doesn't, then I don't care, because it's coming out.
Because we've got cards to put out, we've got anime to put out. Like,
that cycle is so brutal. It's just it ruins the game. They don't ruin it because the game's still good, but
no, it doesn't ruin it. But I think it should be something they address in the future.
And the thing is, they did speak about that in the interview with the CEO, which was covered by Gaming Bible and by The Guardian, where they kind of said that at some point they're going to have to address that the cycle is causing issues. I can't remember his exact words because it obviously was 4 months ago, but yeah, it is a concern they've got. So at least they are thinking about it, but it means that,
good to see that
they're going to have to at least consider maybe how do they keep a cycle interesting for 4 years in the TCG and things like that. Like, anime is easy.
I think there was I can't remember the name of the YouTuber, and I'm really sorry. I'll see if I can find it afterwards and send it over to Jordan. But I don't look at drama YouTubers because I'm trying to do my job, and I don't care about people that rage bait. But there was someone who did quite an interesting look into Glassdoor for Game Freak in Japan, and like actually got stuff translated and looked at some reviews from people that work there. And seemingly a lot of Game Freak were really demoralized by the reviews from Scarlet and Violet. And they were like, we know we're capable of making a better looking game. It's just the time frame. So I think maybe there's been a bit of an internal push as well to be like, this is embarrassing. I know it sells, but like, we want to stay here. Your turnover's increasing or whatever. So like, I think there's a lot of people that, people take the mick out of Game Freak all they want. It's full of incredibly talented developers, and making games is really, really hard. It is the time frame that is the issue. So I really hope that there has been some sort of internal conversations about, hey, we want to make a game we're proud of. If that means taking a bit longer, let's do that. I'd love to see that.
It's especially weird because the first two Pokemon games are like technical marvels, like the two of the most technically impressive games. They shouldn't be able to work on the hardware that they do. And to be fair, there's lots of like, it's held together by sticky tape on those platforms. But it'd be amazing to see what they could do with infinite time, but it's just not you know what I did think though? You know what we'll get in 2026 without a doubt? A Kanto remake or a Kanto game. We will. There's no doubt in my mind that we will. Oh, have you two frozen, or have you just looked absolutely? You looked.
No.
You immediately stopped. I think they will either gussy up the Game Boy games and put them on the equivalent of the Virtual Console, or they'll do something that they can have a lot of Kanto stuff in 2026 because honestly, it's Kanto and it's Gen 1 or stuff
Gen X. I reckon Gen X will take it to Kanto.
Yeah, I reckon the shrewd part of me is like, it'll just be red and blue on Virtual Console, but actually it won't be Virtual Console, it'll be 20 quid a piece. And they're exactly the same. But there's a part of me that's like, there's also part of me that's like, they must have seen that anyone who's got access to bloody Unity or Blender has gone, what if HD 2D Pokemon? And whether they do it with Square Enix or they do something similar like the recent Star Ocean 2 remake, which doesn't use HD 2D, but it uses like sprites and 3D sort of thing. Mate, I'll bang on about how many Kanto remakes we've had all you want. If you give me HD 2D...
like the Octopath games.
You can charge
Kanto game that looks like
freak.
Octopath.
I'm really, all of my dignity will go. I'll pay 60 quid.
That guy, the guy who did the ones who was doing the remake that looked like the illustrations, the original
yes, the Ken Sugimori ones, but like in the 3D style.
That was
incredible.
So stunning. Imagine a Pokemon game that looked like that. That was so nice.
You know what you'll get. You know what you'll get, Tom. You'll get Elka, and you'll like it. You'll get an Elka Kanto remake, and you'll like it.
We'll get Pokemon Z finally.
Yeah. Oh yeah, any Pokemon Stars any day now. Finally for this week, before we head off into that Christmas good night, we have a new TCG product via our pals at Poke Beach. The Paldea Adventures chest has been revealed with images.
The Pikachu is lovely. The promo, that is an amazing Pikachu promo with the Palmy and is it a Palmy or a Palmot?
It's got a Palmy, a Sprigatito, and a Mousehold, and it looks fantastic. It also comes with a Sprigatito EX, which is a promo card. Bit of a strange one, getting a starter EX.
Where's 200 HP? It's not good either. Like the starter EX is a fun idea.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the promos here, and there's like, where's the Quaxley?
In the bin.
Yeah.
Quaxley's getting his own special collection. Actually, I've heard. It also comes with it's $50, so you assume it's going to be 50 quid. Comes with 7 foil promo cards, which are the Mousehold EX, which I think is a reprint from Paradox. A Palmot EX, which I believe is a reprint from Paldea Evolved, the Sprigatito, which is new, the Pikachu, which is new, and then holo versions of a few more reprints of basic cards. It also comes with 6 packs, a mini portfolio, and some stickers. It's a nice little box.
Yeah, it's cute. It's a really good gift. That full art Pikachu is really gorgeous. That's nice art.
I will end up getting it for that card pretty much exclusively. But yeah, it's
an artist. Oh, I can't zoom in. Doesn't matter. But yeah, it's lovely.
Misaki? I can't see it.
Very nice stuff. Weirdly, I mean, probably not that weirdly, because I think the shipping date has maybe closed for the year, but the Pokemon Center has no new plushes this week, guys. I've got nothing in my plush report. I can't tell you that we've got a new sitting cutie of.
It's because if you ordered it now, you wouldn't be able to get it by Christmas.
Yeah, it's sad. All I want is a sitting cutie of Cosmo M, everyone's favorite Pokemon. But no, nothing. Any on the we've got we're off by one day, but we'll give it anyway. On this day in Pokemon history, presented by our friend and fact checker extraordinaire, Joe Sereby himself, who I don't think has slept in the past 5 days, because every time I open Twitter, regardless of day or night, mate, he was always be like, "I've just added 300 million things to the site." Mate,
did you see his message earlier where he was like, I went out for one walk for the first time since Thursday, and Pokemon announced the next community day. And I was like, Joe, you run a website. How do you not hire someone else?
No, I asked him this, and he was like, I don't trust anyone. I honestly, I respect it.
We were once doing Worlds. That was the party for the Worlds event, and we were stood outside waiting to go into the party, and Pokemon dropped news while the party for World is about to happen. So Joe has to pull his laptop out and just sit there and just outside. And we're just like, we're all gonna go get a pint.
I've been at I went to a showing of the Pokemon Presents this year in a cinema. And all the journalists were sat there like, oh yes, it's lovely. And Joe was sat typing, watching it the entire time, like, And I was like, I respect the hustle. No one does it like Joe. No. Nobody.
Ross does sometimes. Like at that same Pokemon Direct event, he went round a corner and recorded his voiceover for the video as well, from memory as well.
I tell you what, Ross has been doing some really good presenting of the recent Pokemon tournaments as well. He did the last Pokemon TCG and stuff. So, I mean, the other presenters are great, but it's nice to see him doing that. It's fantastic.
Nice.
Ross is a great caster.
You two should come to Liverpool Regionals, man, so we can meet up. That would be good fun.
I'd love to properly build a deck.
Yeah, I shan't be playing. I should just be floating about spending money. But
I might come to Regionals. It's not far from me. Like it's close to me.
I think we're just gonna drive down for the Saturday and then go to a couple of
let's do a real life podcast, us three together.
You know what? It's too late to enter, isn't it? But you can still buy just tickets.
We have people we can talk to. I would say that it wouldn't be a problem for you to get into the regionals.
Yeah, I don't know why I asked that. You're absolutely right.
How will we go?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, how possibly?
Let me think. Let me think.
Yeah, you're right. Gonna get Masuda on the phone after this.
Yeah, I'll try my best. I missed him last time, so I'll need to speak to him this time. Yeah, as I was saying, on this day in Pokemon history, technically yesterday in Pokemon history, we had the Japanese release of a massively underrated game, in my opinion, the Pokemon trading card game on Game Boy Color.
Game.
That is it's first released in 1998. It really holds up. Like it's on the virtual console, like the virtual Game Boy, and it's cracking.
Did you use the same link?
Yeah, it just takes it to the. I think that might take you to Zany Meowth. But
I was really confused.
What baffles me as well is like you could really sell that like in tandem with a new TCG set and be like, buy it physically and get this promo card. Card-based RPGs are doing gangbusters. Like Midnight Suns is an absolute banger. We've just had a Bait and Kaitos remake. Like people do love that stuff, like SteamWorld Quest and that. If next year's final Switch game is a Pokemon trading card game, new RPG, I will be so happy. I don't understand why we don't have another one. Because Live is different.
I don't know why Live isn't on Switch though. That really winds me up. So Live could absolutely work on Switch.
I think it's probably to do with scanning the QR codes. Annoyingly.
Yeah, I mean, but you could always tie that to like an.
I know
app
there's workarounds, but I think it's because it needs to be exactly the same app.
That was such a Pokemon on Nintendo thing to be like, no, let's not make more money because the QR code won't work somewhere. That's such a very much that thing that they would do.
I know, I agree. I wish it was, but I do think it's because it needs to be exactly the same app if they were going to do it.
Thing is,
like Unite's exactly the same game.
Yeah, as long as they don't do what Yu-Gi-Oh do and release like a new TCG game like every couple of years, where you just feel like, oh, Speed Duel or what's the one that's out now?
Master Duel.
Yeah. I feel like there's always new one.
Master Duel, the most recent one, I think so. Yeah.
I mean, it's good, but it always throws me off. Where there's always a new one on being advertised. I'm like, but why?
Who knows? Anyway, that's it for the year from the Secret Rare Boys. We'll be back on January the 2nd with the next episode. Enjoy your Christmas break or whatever you celebrate. Oh, he's up. He's side ducking.
Hey.
He's got his side duck.
Got my little side duck Christmas jumper.
That is amazing.
I realised I hadn't shown it off yet, and I was like, I need to get it in there.
Christmas Pikachu can do the outro.
I've got him as well.
No, this isn't a brag. This is just a nice visual for how beautiful it is. I don't want to put him away when Christmas is done though, because he's so nice and soft.
No, I don't. Mine is currently next to my partner. Recently got me the Statue of Liberty Pikachu from New York, so I'm gonna get a selection of like the special Pikachu plushes.
Nice.
This is why I need the Beefeater. Someone sell me a used Beefeater Pikachu, not for 300 quid. I know he's gonna get it now as well. I can. Yeah. Here he is. How many did you buy? 8, 9? You made a nice little profit, didn't you? He can't hear me.
To be fair, lads.
It's so upsetting.
I just launched my headphones out my computer, sliding back to get this beefeater.
By the time I got to Worlds, they had been scalped to high heaven.
Yeah, well,
I could delve.
Be a bigger fan. Right,
if you were a Shrek fan, you'd be there.
I agree. You can find us all on Twitter at Monkey Nook for Tom, at Nathan Destroy for Nathan. I'm at Jordan Midler. I cannot wait next year to recount the absolutely ridiculous Pokemon TCG related Christmas presents that I have purchased. But until then, say goodbye, Nathan.
Goodbye. Happy Christmas. Happy New Year, everyone.
Say goodbye, Tom.
Bye.
And we'll see you next week. Next year.
Whoa.
Next year.
Damn.